It is exactly 9:38 a.m. and we're now going to be talking with an amazing young person, and that, of course, is Ntsiki Mazwai, who is the Land Party's mayoral candidate for obviously Johannesburg. And over the next few days, we are going to introduce you to other mayoral candidates for Johannesburg. So, a very good morning to you. Welcome to the program, Ntsiki Mazwai.
Assalamu alaikum, Julie. How are you?
Walaikum assalam. Alhamdulillah. Very, very well indeed. Thank you indeed for joining us on the show this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so you are with the Land Party, and you're going to talk about your manifesto, and then also we're going to really concentrate on what you are going to promise, or what you're promising the people of Johannesburg should you be our mayor. So let's start with who in fact is Ntsiki Mazwai.
All right. Wow, that's always a difficult question. But when you say who, for me, the question always speaks to purpose and what I came to this earth to do. I came to earth to serve and to use my voice to empower people. I believe that we can be living in such a greater and more wholesome community if we work together and radically focus on love. I'm an artist, I'm an activist. I've spent a lot of my time being an armchair critic on social media, shouting at the politicians over the years. And now I'm just like, okay, let me do it myself then.
Right.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, join political parties with the very same values as you've articulated to us right now. Is I'll join the party and I will work really hard to make a positive difference. Sad to say, a lot of people come in with high hopes, but then are unable to deliver because in a lot of instances their hands are tied because politics are at play. How do you believe you could be able to circumvent or overcome issues around we know what the issues are in our country. It's unemployment, poverty, corruption, crime, a very, very weak economic growth, etc., etc., etc.
I agree with you. I mean, it is quite naive to go into a system and think that you're going to change the system. What usually happens is that the system changes you. I think joining politics is inspired by the fact that there's a lot of voter apathy. I'm part of the demographic that had stopped voting, but I realized that when we stop voting, we give the power away. So we've always actually got to be active. Otherwise, things are just going to get worse and worse and worse. And I think what's important about me coming in is that I'm quite disruptive. I'm informal. I'm just a normal human being. So I don't have the baggage of political theories and just the baggage of even tenders and things like that. I represent a new era in South African politics where citizens are more involved. What we have found in the past is that there's been quite a big gap between politicians and the people that they serve. So I think that my entry into politics represents an era where there's going to be more citizenship leadership. I'm a great communicator, and I think that we don't really know how politics works, and putting somebody in like me who knows how to break the concepts down and put them in plain language is going to create more trust between government and the citizens. And it's also going to create a situation where we know exactly how things work. One of the things that the Land Party wants to introduce is a service delivery tracker. So a lot of the time we'll have potholes or outages, and then it takes really long for things to be sorted out. We will be able to now check how far you lodge your complaint, check how far it is, check who's working on it, check when it will be resolved. A lot of our issues have come because there's no accountability and there's a bottleneck problem in Johannesburg. So I think that, bringing in somebody who is fresh and new is wisdom in that it's going to be a learning curve for all of us, and it's going to be even more involved. I mean, since my announcement, there's a lot more talk around LGEs, and young people are getting involved and more excited. So I do think that my entry into politics is about the people entering politics instead of the capitalists choosing their candidates.
So, what made Ntsiki Mazwai decide that the Land Party is the party she wants to be associated with and she wants to represent?
Okay, so I had looked at all the parties, and I really wasn't happy. Like you say, when people get in there, then they start buying red bottom shoes and they start buying G-Wagons. So, so I really was like not keen on any of the other ones. I've always been very much for the people, and I don't think that the widening income gap is acceptable. I think that it's difficult to eat when other people are not eating. So for me, a priority has always been the poor people, the regular South Africans. That's basically the majority of us. There's a very small percentage of us that are haves. So I just felt as if we need to work on the backbone of the economy, and the backbone of the economy is actually the working class and the people on the ground. And I was always on Twitter, and I would see my leaders' tweets, Gobani Nzongana, the president of the Land Party, and I could resonate with so many of them, and I could see the work he was putting in. I could see that he's working.
You can take S, then come back with her.
She's inspired by that. I love the fact that he doesn't focus on the elite and elitist rhetorics and bourgeois politics. I like that it's just working with normal people and getting normal people to be active citizens to make sure that we make a difference, and it's a collective effort. So that's why I could align with Land Party. It's got very pragmatic solutions. You know, I can follow what they want to do, and I believe in their vision.
Okay, Ntsiki Mazwai, we're going for an ad break. When we come back, we'll continue with this very important conversation. Ntsiki is, of course, a Johannesburg mayoral candidate for the Land Party.
Shimmer, sparkle, captivate. Nothing less than a masterpiece. Droplets of gold inspires precious design. Platinum bursts with intricate freshness, and every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, where timeless dreams become a reality. Come to us. We tailor-make designer gold, platinum, and diamond jewelry. Trade in or remodel your old gold. Clad yourself with classy name-branded watches. We offer insurance valuation and freezer card calculation. Visit us at 534 Ridge Road, Overport, or call 031 208 9142. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, manufacturers of fine gold and diamond jewelry.
Discover the Africa of your dreams and surround yourself with her spectacular beauty. Relax beneath her serene sunsets and explore wildlife at its natural best. It's where the pride of Africa comes together. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve. Get to know the Big Five or cruise on an elephant safari game drive. Interact with lion and tiger cubs and enjoy world-class halal cuisine while we pamper you during your 5-star stay. Indulge in the true African experience. For reservations, call now on 042 203 1400 or visit kwantu.co.za. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve, the place of gathering.
When the perfect blend of stylish decor, exquisite halal cuisine, and warm hospitality come together, it could only mean Albeit Lodge, your true home away from home. Albeit is the ideal heaven for families, business people, and tourists with its 4-star family rooms and other luxurious facilities, conveniently situated close to Port Elizabeth Airport, the beach, and other amenities. Your stay will be truly unforgettable, as you'll be taking home lasting memories of the warm hospitality, the serenity and tranquility that Albeit has to offer. For reservations, call 041 583 6415 or visit www.albeitlodge.co.za.
Somewhere in Africa, women wake before dawn, not to pray but to walk. hours across dry land just to bring water home every single day. This August, Africa Muslims Agency invites families to The Source, a charity market where every purchase helps bring clean water to Africa. Join us at The Source on the 1st of August, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., 31 West Street, Houghton. Shop, gather, give.
Rejuvenating media day by day. This is Salam Media.
9:48 exactly. This is News and Views on Salam Media. This is our final interview of the morning. We wrap up at 10 o'clock and we are talking with the Land Party Johannesburg mayoral candidate, and that is Ntsiki Mazwai. She's told us a little bit about herself. She's told us why she's decided to go into politics, and we are now going to talk to her about, and she's also explained to us why she chose the Land Party. So Ntsiki, welcome back. Beyond economic reform, let's talk about your party's manifesto. And would you agree with me when I say most of the parties do promise us similar things as far as manifestos are concerned? Sadly, most times, they manage to do good on one or two, and then everything else seems to kind of fall by the wayside. Is it because the mayor or the parties are overwhelmed by other parties and their agendas? And what we've been seeing over the past while in our country, very many institutions have been captured. Is that part of the reason why we're seeing almost a broken state?
Absolutely. As you rightfully say, a lot of the institutions have been captured. And I feel that because we've always had the same players, I mean, often we see a story on somebody who's been charged with corruption or there's allegations, and then jiggy, the next moment we see them reshuffled into another position, which speaks to a lack of accountability and a lack of consequence. So in the Land Party, we want to instill a strong consequence management program. So there will be accountability, because I think that's where South Africa has been lacking. It's in accountability. We're too scared of the rich. Our troubled political history has that a certain demographic has got the power over the resource of the land, and therefore the majority of us have to play to the tune of whoever's holding the purse strings, which is why it's important that someone from the ground, someone from the people, someone from willing to speak for the people and strong enough is put up. And it's just not someone, actually. It's all of us. It's time for all of us to stand up to capitalism, to stand up to the oligarchs, to stand up to the monopolies, to make sure that the resources of this country benefit everybody in the country. I mean, we don't all want to drive Lamborghinis and live fancy, but we do want service delivery. We do want roofs over our heads and decent roofs over our heads. We do want food on our table. So we're almost, it's a revolution, really. It's a love revolution that is necessary in this country. We can't trust. We've given the politicians 32 years and they failed us. And I think that's more than enough time. That's why it's time to shake up the establishment, put in new players who don't have dodgy dealings with some of these underworld people. They've become too comfortable, even with the GNU. You can see that the politicians are just cutting up the pie amongst themselves, and they're like, okay, you take care, we're going to take care. So we need to destabilize, disrupt everything that's been going on and start all over again. Because also another thing that I think COVID did was that it was a neutralizer. So it's no more race politics so much in this country. It's actually just about human beings, and the battle now is about elitism and classism. And I think we can all agree that we just all want to benefit yeah, we all want to benefit and live comfortably. And people who want to make money can make money. As you know, we want to reform the economy, but it must not be at the expense of the poor.
Okay, so the name of the party, the Land Party, for people, who kind of just skim through your manifesto or just assume they're the Land Party,
Yes.
not sure if I should be actually voting for them because just by the mere fact of
Yes.
their name, there's going to be issues around land grabs.
Yes.
Or expropriation of land without compensation, etc., etc. I think that comes top most on one's mind when they see your name.
Yes.
How do you respond to that issue?
Well, we don't believe in expropriation without compensation, and we can also assure people that we're not going to be coming for the land. Like if you're living in your house in Greenside or in Mayfair, we're not coming to say we're coming to take your house. We're saying that we can start utilizing the land so that it benefits more people. There's a lot of unused land in South Africa. So we need to start making sure that land is used to benefit South Africans. Also, we need to have a cap on how much land an individual can own. Some of these people are owning ridiculous amounts of land, and that's like the land that we're talking about. And in terms of actually the land and the policies around the land, we are very clear at the Land Party that we are calling on a referendum on the land question. So we want to leave it up to the people to decide, Uguti, what do we want to do with the land? What is the solution around the land? What do the people want to do about the land issues? So it's not really us putting out the policies. We're saying, guys, it's time to have the conversation.
Okay, so the current situation in our country is a bit tense regarding the issue around migration, very specifically illegal migrants. We've seen the heartbreaking pictures and stories of what's happened over the past while. But then there is the other, the flip side of that story where we as locals or some of the locals believe that because of the migrant situation, there isn't enough availability of housing. Thus, we're having a huge mushrooming of squatter camps all around Johannesburg and surrounds. There's also schooling issues. Overcrowded schooling. Where have you ever heard of people being able to manage and teach a class of 60 odd? And then the other issue around medical support, hospitals, being overcrowded, understaffed, underserviced, etc., etc., etc. How do you respond to that issue, and how are you going to deal with it as mayor of Johannesburg?
You know what? The cries are valid. The cries are valid, and we believe that people wouldn't be acting out like this unless they're feeling some type of way.
We can wrap up.
How you do it, as a citizen, you can't take the law into your own hands because it's going to lead to a state of anarchy. And then what's the point of having government then if everybody can do just whatever they feel like? So it's important that we manage how we do it, and how at the Land Party we suggest is that we should have a 90% quotas, 90% local employment, and then 10% to foreigners, and also that it's for specialized work. I think that we need to prioritize our own people. We can see the frustration, and if you are at home, you actually should be comfortable. We can't put in other people's needs ahead of your own. However, we can't be beating up people. What we saw with children and mothers out in winter in concentration camps, that's unacceptable. South Africa is a multicultural, multiracial country, which speaks to the fact that we are based on a premise of love. So once we start messing with the dignity and the rights of other human beings, we're actually going against our own constitution as a country. So like I say, we're going to look at the labor laws and make sure that countries that employ 90% localers are incentivized. We're going to ensure that people are documented. A big thing is the illegal migration. We need to legalize that. We need to make sure that we know who is in the country, because it's also a national security issue. You can't just have people coming in who are not documented, who can just do crime and then run away, and then we don't know where they've gone to.
Okay, Ntsiki, we're going to have to wrap up, but I'd like
Okay.
I'd like to part with this, and I'd like your response. I'd love you to be our mayor of Johannesburg, but should you not become the mayor, what happens to you? Where do you move on to? Do you still remain with the party?
I absolutely still remain with the party. The party's got to grow. I believe in the party. And we are going to grow. And we are a people revolution. So we're not going anywhere. I'm still staying with the land party.
Good luck to you. Good luck to you. I'm going to be following you very, very closely. God bless. Thank you for being with us. And good luck. Let's hope that we see you as our next mayor of Johannesburg.
Thank you so much, Julie.
It is exactly 9:58. And of course, that means wrap up time, but not before we take a listen to our Fired Up series for this morning, brought to you with compliments by Hafiz Imran Chunara of African Muslims Agencies. And so we're going to play out with that. Let's take a keen listen to it, and do hope you get inspired, motivated, and enjoy.